Hey guys, welcome back to Worth the Spin. I'm your fill-in host, Jack. Alrighty, now a whole lot going on. Been absent for a while. I'm gonna try to get back onto a weekly schedule. Let's hope that happens. Um, haven't done a lot of record hunting. I did do a little bit today, a little bit. Stopped on the way to a doctor's appointment and checked out one place that's been closed for a while and has reopened. I guess somebody else is owning it. I don't know. It was kind of stripped down, usually filled with records and CDs and stuff, and didn't really have much in. And it basically like had couches in there, TVs, and Xbox, and some few albums and some CDs and stuff, and almost looked like somebody's like living room or something. So I don't know what they got going on there, but they were pretty darn happy to see me. So they know me. The one guy, I guess, I'm thinking he bought this from the other guy who owned it. Because he was like, I was looking around. He's like, "Hey, you're the Beatle guy, right?" And I said, "Well, I like the Beatles." So he's like, "Hey, I got an album to show you." And a couple of them. Well, one was Rubber Soul, which is I've got Rubber Soul. It was looked like it was probably a first print, and I can usually tell right off the bat by looking at the record because I call them pigtails. So if you look, I have nothing to show you, but if you look on um, the early rainbow labels, first pressings always have the one will just be a straight one, kind of like an I without the dot. And the represses, second onwards, have this little piece that come off of the one, and I call that a pigtail. So I look at that, I could tell pretty quick if it's going to be a first pressing or a later one. And it would look like it was a first pressing. But I've already got it, and it was not in the best condition, so I just passed on it. The other one he had, and I don't remember the name, I'm trying to look into it, was a Beatles album, and it had a German insert sheet, and it looked like to me it came from, or not German, but Japanese. And the thing about this was, it was like an interview thing that came out, and he said, I didn't see the date, he said it was dated like 80, 82, but it's like an interview disc, and had a couple of songs on there. The curious thing about it, and the neat thing about it, is it had 3D glasses. It had round, like a 45, glasses to cut out for the nose, and they were the 3D glasses. And it came with a postcard that was in 3D and an insert that was in 3D. It wasn't really a fantastic insert. It was just kind of like square blocks with the Beatles faces on the square blocks. The 3D effect wasn't that great. You look at it, you could tell it was, 3D. But it wasn't. It's like kind of like when they did early 3D back in the 80s. You used to go see those movies in the 80s, and you had to wear the big old glasses, and you could tell it wasn't like quite really 3D. They were kind of faking it. But so it was neat. I decided to pass on it for now because I wanted to look into it a little bit more. Only reason I was interested in buying it was because of the fact that it came with 3D glasses and had a 3D insert. And I thought that was kind of weird. It's just I've never seen an album come out released that way. So I may go get it again. I didn't have a lot of time to look at it and really see what's going on with it. But I may go back and check it back out. So a couple of releases I have picked up here in the past, let's say month, because it took a while for a couple of these to get to me. One of them is, we talked about that, Thrillerton. Yeah, so Thrillerton was a orchestrated version of Ram, and Paul did this in 1971, and it got shelved until 1977 when he then released it, and going on in this name of Percy Thrillington. But people finally, it caught on not too long that it was Paul doing this, or conducting this album. He didn't play on it, but he did conduct it, I believe. And it's good. I've listened to it. It's pretty cool. When I first looked at it online, I'm like, that's kind of Ram, orchestrated version of Ram. I don't know. I like Ram. I'm just like, I don't know. There's a lot of other albums I would think you could do that to. Ram's not one that would stick to mind, but this works. This works. You listen to this, it's great. I mean, it really does work. I really enjoyed it. I listened to it a couple of times. It's a really fantastic album. So it's Thrillerton. If you get a chance, pick it up. I got mine off of Amazon. Um, hate to say that, but Amazon does sometimes they are a good source for stuff. But it's a good album. It's really good. It's certainly worth the spend. So you get a chance to pick it up. I've looked at since I've gotten it. I've looked at original pressings of it, and they're really not that high. They're more along the line of what I paid for this. So you could probably get you an original online for what I paid for this. So um, it's good. I like it a lot. Came with a little uh, digital download of the album, so that's kind of cool. It's a cool little bonus. So again, Thrillerton, it's worth the spend. You see it, pick it up. Don't pay crazy money for it. Keep in mind, guys, again, that these are just vinyl records or something we just listen to as we have time. And spending a ton of money on them thinking you'll be able to turn around and this is some kind of big investment, it's just not going to happen. Seen a video again the other day, and it was like really rare record. And went to the shop, found this really rare record, and it's still sealed. And I thought, man, just going to sit on it and let the value climb. And I think that's silly because why would you pay crazy money for a sealed record you can't listen to? That's like the whole fad right now we have is doing the having everything professionally graded and locked in those little plastic um, protector things. You can never take that out and look at it, read it, listen to it. Because if you do, now it's no longer worth what they say it was worth. Now it's worth a couple of bucks. But you lose the opportunity to enjoy that music or book or whatever. So stop doing that and just buy your stuff for listening pleasure. And I think you'll be a lot happier in your um, hobby. All right, now we're going to move on. This one here is not such a big shocker. Hey, look what I found type thing. I have had it missing since it came out. Was happy to get it. And it is McCartney, Half Speed Master. And if you're wondering, are those Half Speed Masters worth the spin? Are they really that good? They are. I love the Half Master series. We have Venus and Mars coming out next month. Great album. I can't wait for it. I love these Half Speeds. They sound so good. They're crisp, they're clear. You can hear every instrument, and it's just amazing the way they sound. So this is certainly one that is worth the spin. And this is the front cover. This is the back cover, and I haven't opened it up yet to put it in a protected sleeve because I haven't had time. Only thing I'm kind of bummed about is this was originally a Record Store Day exclusive, and the little sticker that says that isn't on here. That's kind of a bummer. But other than that, it came at least in really good condition. So I'm sure you're all familiar with McCartney. If you get a chance, pick it up. Half Speed Master. If you're wondering, are the Half Speed Masters worth the money? They are worth the money. I highly recommend them, especially McCartney. You can't start off with nothing better than start off with McCartney. Alrighty, and this is then show you the label. Let me show you the label just for you who are keeping scorecards at home. This is the label. It's just a repo of the original Apple label. Love the Apple label. One of the coolest things ever. It'd be cool if it wasn't a Beatles invention, but it's really cool. All right, so this one here, I'm more excited for. So I believe we've talked about this one before, and I made the statement. I don't really look at them that much anymore. I'll go in a shop and I'll have 3 or 4 of them. So I'm sitting there and it's like, I don't really thumb through there and look at them. I'm like, I'm not going to find a first pressing. I've seen tons and tons and tons of bootlegs. I don't want to waste my time flipping through something that I'm, probably not going to buy. So I've seen this and I saw the cover. I'm like, wow, that cover looks really darn good. It looks pretty darn good for an original of what I thought it was. Then I look on the back and we have the song changes on there. We have Please Please Me and Ask Me Why. They are on there, which they're not on the bootlegs. You can see George's shadow right there. Shadow of George. That's important. There's no brown border. It does not say stereo. Um, really good condition for its age. And this is the label, because even though I said I don't go through them, I don't waste my time doing it. I just saw bootlegs. I'm like, man, this one looks pretty darn good from the outside. Let's look at the inside. And kids, guess what we got? We have us an original pressing of Introducing the Beatles. That's right. Look at that. Sweet. There's the other side. And it plays pretty good. It's got little too much crackle to me. I've tried to clean it and get some more of that out of there, and I think I've succeeded to a certain point. But it sounds good. It doesn't overpower the music. Um, so when you're looking for these, you're looking for the rainbow. In case you don't know, you don't want a faded out rainbow. One nice solid color lines on there. You want the title of the album and the artist title to be above the spindle hole. That's important. You want to say um, micro groove. It's a mono. It's not a stereo. Um, and you are looking for Coffin King for song number 4, Chains. Let me see if I can get you a picture of that right there. Maybe you can see that. I hope. And yeah, so I checked it out, and I come home and I looked it up on Discogs, and there's so many of these on Discogs that, it was like, man, it's just like wasting my time. I can't seem to find is bootleg, is it not bootleg? So I reached out to some people in the know, and they said, you got you an original. Several people said, you got an original. How much are you selling it for? Nothing, because I have been wanting an original copy of this forever, and in my entire life of buying records and listening to the Beatles, I've never seen an original Introducing the Beatles. So I have no desire to get rid of this one. So it looks really, really good. It's nice and shiny. The labels are clean. Nobody's names on the labels. Cover seems to have 19 on it in all 4 corners. I don't know what that is about, but that's on there in all 4 corners. So other than that, there's a little brown on the back, where it might have been wet a little bit at one time. That's not too bad. I'm going to try to clean that off and see if I can get a little bit more of it off. I've cleaned the record a few times. I've gotten some of the crackling and that down on it, so it's not that bad. It doesn't overpower the songs down like it did when I first got it. So this is really awesome. I finally own one. Only thing about it that is a bummer is somebody, and I know who it was because I buy records from this place. You got to watch this guy. He does this. He will take a marker and he will color in on labels, on album covers, and try to cover the blemishes. So around the spindle hole, there should be a little bit of wear, and there's not. But if you look closely, you can see a different color black. So he took a black marker and he colored around the spindle hole to try to hide that. And that's hard to do because you can tell, looking at it, you can see old black and new black. So somebody tried to color it. And that just hurt the record. That just hurt the value of it. Not that I would sell it. I've had lots of offers already on it, but I won't sell it because I don't think I'm going to find another one again. All this time, trying to find one, I finally found one. I intend to keep it. So I found that. That's really cool. And yeah, I was just, I don't know, I was blown away. Because I usually don't check them. I kind of flip through them, but I don't check them. And something just said, man, that looks a little good. You might want to look at that record. And I pulled it out when I did. I was like, oh, there's just too many indicators on here that it is not a bootleg. And so I took the chance and bought it because I was pretty positive about it. And I got it home. I did a little more investigation. I asked some people, and then first pressing, Introducing the Beatles. Cannot pass on this album. Worth the spin? Obviously, it's worth the spin. You see it, get it, it's worth it. Don't pay crazy money for it. It was a $23 record is what it was marked for me. And it's worth it. Certainly worth that kind of money. I wouldn't pay any of the crazy stuff you see. I mean, I've seen things from everywhere from a quarter for these, all the way up to $10,000. But obviously, that's your fakes, your bootlegs that are really poor. And the best description of a really poor, crappy bootleg of introducing would be one that has the brown border around it, because Georgia Shadow's not there. It has a brown border, and then the songs are just a jumbled up border. So you look at it, it's just like, this is like crap. So I found one. Can't believe I found one. So it's really cool. It's nice to have in my collection. So that's it for new records, new-ish records for me from the past. I'm going to say enough, because I've been on a couple of times, but I've not really seen anything. So I stopped fooling with it. It's just kind of disappointing. Every day you go and you look and you hope, here's something, and then there's not. So, but there's a record show in my area next weekend, this weekend, and I hope to go to that. If all goes well, I will attend that one. And it's been a while since I've been to a record show, so I will hopefully attend that one and maybe get a little bit of video. We'll see what kind of Beatles people are selling. Look at some other stuff too. I look at other things. I collect other things other than the Beatles, but that's my all-time favorite band. So that's why Beatles must always be on my YouTube page. So with that, that's all I have right now. So one more bit of news for you. This is kind of cool. This is super cool. I'm excited for this. So I have a friend. So it's my wife's nephew, and he's a very smart, intelligent young man. He is very proficient in several musical instruments. Not to mention sports. He's just one of those kids that can do it all kind of kids. And he's awesome. He's nice and friendly. He's just really cool. So anyway, the thing, I talked to somebody at a record store not too long ago, and we were talking about Sergeant Pepper. And in fact, somebody had traded in a Sergeant Pepper, and I had made a remark, whatever that remark was, and he had come back and said, well, the teenage kid came in with a stack of records, and that was in there, and he's like, I said, whoa, you're getting rid of the Beatles. It's the only one in here. I can see the others. And he had made a comment like, this album's irrelevant. I heard all this great stuff about it, and I bought it, and it's just, I don't think it's all that. And so they had a short discussion about it, and the kids left with his belief that Sergeant Pepper was just an album. And I was kind of shocked by that. I never heard anybody describe the Beatles as just average. And so that was kind of weird. So we talked about it a little bit. So I went to a different record store that day, and I talked to somebody else about it. I'm like, hey, what do you think about this story? And they said, it's not that crazy sounding to me. I do see times where kids are passing on later Beatles. They're not big fans of the younger stuff. When you get to the older albums, you get Sgt. Pepper and Abbey Road and White Album. They're a lot more, I'm going to take that kind of things because that's what they're talking about. So I had him come over, and we talked. I talked to him on the phone, and what we're going to do is, I thought this would be kind of a neat idea. I thought we'd get someone in his age group to listen to the Beatles. He's heard of some of the songs, but he's not really familiar with them. He's not listened to any of the albums. But yet he's very proficient in all these musical instruments and musical notes and stuff of that sort. So I thought he would be the perfect person to listen to the Beatles and then give me his opinion of what he feels as a teenager in 2025 of this band and the music they created back in the 60s. So I'm looking forward to that. I've sent him the list of the UK albums. I just want to do the UK catalog, not the American one. I think it's too colluded. All these albums that's in there that weren't really official releases in the UK, in a mixture of singles and stuff like that. I thought it would be best to do just the core UK albums. Even out the singles. There are a couple of singles I do need to add that he should listen to that are not album cuts, such as Hey Jude. As I like his opinion on that. But I'm very interested in see when he gets done. Make notes, kind of remember what you listened to, how you felt about it. And as you get time, just start the very first one all the way through and I sent him a list. So I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully we'll get those done here in the next week or so, maybe, and then we can sit down and talk about it, and I'll share it with you guys. So I think it'd be interesting to get kind of a feel how teenage kids in America feel about the Beatles these days. They were so influential. Sometimes I look at what's going on and I'm like, I don't think they're influential anymore, which is a shame. So we will check and see, and when I hear back, I will let you know. It might be another couple of weeks in the making, but do have those coming. Alrighty, so that's all I got for you this time. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm glad to be back and doing these. And remember again, we got the fancy high dollar graphics because these graphics don't pay for themselves, you know. Like this channel, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to it would be cool. I had 100 views a couple of weeks ago. I was excited that um, somebody watched my videos 100 times. I think that's really cool. Um, so I appreciate everybody who watches this channel, who subscribes to this channel, and who gives me those little thumb emojis, because that means that it's like other people see that a bunch of those, they go, wow, something good's coming off this channel. I think I'll watch it. So I appreciate you being here, and I hope to keep this back on track on a weekly thing. And that's all I got for you. So wherever you do, be kind to one another and listen to vinyl, because whatever you're listening to, it's never going to sound any better than it sounds right now on vinyl. Take care.